Բարև everyone. My name is Hrachik. Um, so where are the slides? We have the slides? Oh, you have? Oh, I can see it. Awesome. So this is not the story that you saw in the announcement. I just thought that this one would be more fun. So this one is a roller coaster of a lot of successes and fuck ups during a few years. So let's go. Do I have a clicker or you're my clicker? Okay, Shaturachem clicker, Hrachik. Let's go. So that's a long story, so I'm not gonna spend much time on introducing myself. So my story in for emoji is that I was born in Armenia, I was raised in Russia, my company is in the United States, and I make money in Saudi Arabia. That's all you know. That's all you need to know about me, and that's all I want, actually. Okay, let's go on. So back in 2011, 11 years ago, I came up with this stupid idea that why would people wake up with alarm clocks? Why don't we wake up each other? So the idea was that you set an alarm clock, you go to bed, and in the morning, someone, a random person, should call you and wake you up and talk to you until you decide to wake up. We called it Buddhist in Russian. That's a play on words like budit, to wake someone up. And yeah, let me. What's the next slide? Show me. Just I don't know. Oh yeah. So we started this Buddhist thing. I didn't know how to how to market the product. How to. It was a stupid, funny thing. So I found this conference. There was just about something like what we have here of people. So I went and I told the story like, hey, I have this problem, I can't wake up, so I decided that people should wake me up and I will wake others. So we're launching this product. And that's pretty much everything we've done in terms of marketing of this company, because this thing took like, it's been blowing for years after that conference, even though we've been doing nothing in terms of marketing, but people would love the idea. Either they would love it or they would hate it. Anyways, they loved to talk about it, right? So we got hundreds of thousands of users pretty much like in a few months. It was blowing like crazy. And in a year after that, we're still like the product was still available in Moscow, not even Russia, one city. And I found out that there is this company that started a copycat of this product. They just took the whole thing and copied it. But it was launched in the United States, and it was available for the whole world while we were available in Moscow. So I decided that I'm losing my market. We were the inventors. We loved the idea. So I wanted to catch my chance, go there, and somehow be ahead of them in terms of becoming a global product. Let's go on. So I didn't know how to compete with someone, so I came up with this idea that I'm just gonna buy a ticket to the United States, and I will figure out there how do you become a global product. So I took the ticket, I took the flight. It was very expensive. In Palo Alto, one night in the cheapest motel was $150 a day, which means $4,500 per month just to live in the cheapest motel. So I'm like, okay, we need to be very effective here. And I had no time to compete with those guys and no plan. I had no idea. So I'm like, okay, so we had this small conference in Russia, which made this huge success in Russia with millions by that time, I think, of users. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to another conference in the US and we'll repeat the success for sure. So this is the conference that was in the US. It was way bigger, so I'm like, okay, we're going global, so this success will be way bigger. And when I came to this conference, what happened is that I'm finding that right before us, so I'm going to present the product, right before us, these guys are, the copycat company is presenting their product, which is pretty much the same thing, right before us. It was crazy, and I saw those guys, the founders. They saw me. We never came to each other to talk. I never met them after that. That was the only time. So we saw each other, and I assume they realized like, hey, we're gonna come out and say, hey, we created this social alarm clock thing, and then I'm coming out and I'm saying, okay, they did not create it. We have millions of users. They just starting. They have nothing. So they were probably scared to say the real story. They pivoted right there. So they told some totally different, pretty stupid story about what they're building, and no one understood what they're doing. Anyways, my idea was that we need to kill them, and we pretty much killed them. Their business didn't take off, no success, nothing. The problem is that we died as well. We had no success at all in the United States and globally, like nothing. After this conference, which was huge, we had like 3 people try the alarm clock, and next day 0. That's the whole effect of the conference. And I went back to Russia, so mission accomplished. We killed those guys. We were not successful, but we still have business in Russia, so we can go on. And in a few years after that, I'm realizing like, hey, we need to go global. I mean, that was a good idea. We're not smart enough to do it in the right way, so we're going global. I think we can go to the yeah, and we came up with the idea of another product with different naming. We decided that we need to be smarter in terms of how you go to such a competitive market like United States, because first time it was just a funny game for us. We're like, okay, we need to be professional, and what we also realized that you need to be focused. I mean, you can't go and be successful globally sitting in Russia and doing your Russian business as the main thing. So my idea was that we need to stop the whole operations in Russia and focus on the United States. By that time, we were pretty big. We had millions of dollars of investments in a Russian company. So our investors were like, are you stupid? You're not going to stop this successful company to go try to become successful in the United States, while there are 0 Russian companies by that time that were successful globally. Like all Russian companies were copycats of American companies, and we're like trying to bring something new to the table. So they were like, we're not believing in that plan, so we're not giving you the rest of the money. And they had to give us something like $750,000 by that time. And they were like, we're not giving you that money, even though they had to. We had the papers. And we're like, okay, look, what if we go to the US? That's our decision. I mean, this is our business. We're deciding. So what if we stop it here anyways? You want it or not, we're going to do that. But what if we get some success there? Will you then give us money? They're like, sure. If you gain success, of course we will give, but you'll not. We're like, okay, what's the success? They're like 10,000 users in the United States, and we'll give you the rest of the money. And we're like, okay, let's do that. So we redesigned the whole thing. We have no money in the bank, but we're like, okay, we'll launch it. It's gonna be successful, and we'll get our money. Okay, so we're not paying salaries to the team. We're not paying to those telecom companies who make all those calls for us. So we have some debts by that time. No money at all. But we were like, soon we're gonna hit like crazy. And so we're building this product for iOS, Android, and Windows Phone by that time. It was still a thing. We're building this whole thing. We're launching it. And it's going through on Android, okay, Windows Phone, okay, but iOS, Apple, rejected the app. And we're like, hey, what's the reason? Because, I mean, the same thing in Russian is active in Russia and popular. So why would you reject us? And they're like rejecting because they didn't like something in the interface. So we're changing the interface. They're rejecting again. They're like, we don't like the moderation system you have. We're like, okay, we'll change the moderation. We made something with and months of time are going by that time. Months. We're losing months. We can't launch without iOS. In US, you don't go to the United States without iPhone. So they're just rejecting us month after month after month. Can you go to the next one? This is our team. And I'm going to the team like, guys, I know like you're hungry. We're not paying you salaries for like 5 months now. You need to leave. I mean, I'm still believing that we're gonna have some success globally, but we can't launch without Apple, and Apple doesn't want to accept the app. And they're like, no, we're staying with you. We're gonna be successful. Okay, let's try again. We're keeping to try, and then Apple rejects again and says that this is a pornography app, like porn. That's an app where you have no photos, no text, no videos. It's like people waking up each other by a phone call, okay? And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, where is the pornography here? And we realized that by the time, it was 2014, something after that, Russia took Crimea. And we're like, maybe like those guys in Apple hate Russians because of this, and that's why they're rejecting us as Russian company. I don't know. But anyways, they were creating some stupid reasons to reject the app. So they rejected one more time. And I'm like meeting one of the guys who says, look, I'm living with my girlfriend at my friend's apartment, which is a one-room apartment, just because we don't have salaries. So I didn't want to tell you, but we had to live there because we don't have money for the rent. But they just had a child born. So we're now living with my friend, his wife, his child, and us with my girlfriend in one room. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So there was a lot of emotion about how loyal the team was and how bad the situation was, that we couldn't do nothing because of Apple. So I made this interesting decision that I will just buy a ticket to the United States and I will be successful there somehow. How do you make Apple? So I just took a flight. I went to Cupertino, where Apple's office is, and I was just coming to different people like, are you working for Apple? And all of them are like, yes. And I'm like, can you help me? Like, our app got rejected. And like, what? So it never worked, for sure. That was a very stupid idea. And then I was trying to meet people at Apple. And finally, I got to the guy who was vice president of iTunes, like a big guy who worked with Steve Jobs and so on. And we met him personally. And he heard my story, and he's like, look, this is a mistake. You definitely need to be, like, they will accept you for sure. I will talk to the guys. So now go, like, upload the app once again, and you're going to be okay. And I'm like, finally, I'm telling the team, I'm telling the investors, like, you saw, like, we're doing it. And we're uploading the app, and it gets rejected. And there was the moment when you're like, it's 9 months that I don't pay salaries to the team. No one left. They are somehow trying to leave. And investors are not going to give us any money, especially now when they know that we even cannot launch in the United States. No, we're not talking about success. Like, we're done, okay? And I'm like, okay, my last chance is Tim Cook, the president of Apple. I'm just going to email him. And I found his personal email and wrote a message like this long, like what the philosophy, like, you know, we're trying to make the world a better place, just like Apple. So, some words like that, a lot of words. I actually found the draft of that email because I didn't send it. I was scared to send it. I have the email. It's right here. It's a draft, still in my inbox. So I asked the team, like, should I send it? And they're like, hey, let's try one more time. Upload the app. If it goes through, okay. If not, we'll send to the team. I'm like, okay, let's try that. We're uploading the app. Nothing changed. We know that they're gonna reject, and they just accepted it. Like, We didn't change anything, okay? We just uploaded once again. It was maybe we uploaded in those 9 months, like, I don't know, 40 times, right? And this one time, it just worked. No one knows. That's why this email is still in drafts. Okay, so and it took off. We were like doing great job. We launched this article. Yeah, please. On TechCrunch, which is it's a technical website, a news website about startups, and they're writing this article about us. And I was with Pavel Durov, if you know that guy who found the Telegram and VK. So we were with him at the moment, and he's like, "Hey, this is like if you're trying to have some success in the United States, this is not how you do it because we launched Telegram. This doesn't work. TechCrunch is shit. You'll not have like any users from there." But in fact, this article became the most shared article on TechCrunch of all times. It was shared 30-something thousand times. And we got huge amounts of audience in the United States immediately. We were just, DDoSed. So we were very happy. We had like at least 50,000 users in the first day after this article. So I'm calling my investors to Russia, and I'm like, "Hey, so what, like finally, finally," and they're like, we couldn't believe this is gonna happen. This is unreal. You're great, guys, fantastic, awesome work. We really believe in your success, but we don't have money anymore. We can't. And it was like killing because, so you have a team that's working for 9 months for free. You have 300,000 in debt to telecom companies who you would just call every week saying like, next week we're gonna send you money, okay? Next week, just for 9 months, we're doing these stupid things, and they're just rejecting us with the investments. And we started to try to find money in the United States. Like, hey, we have a product, it was well launched. So we started talking to investors in the US, and we got rejected by 600 investors in a row. Can you imagine that? 600 investors said no to us. Part of them didn't answer, part of them said no, but like 0 commitments of money. And we're like, maybe it's time to stop, okay? So we've done too much stupid things. Maybe we need to stop. And then my brother says, maybe we need to try to go to Y Combinator. Anyone knows what's that? So YC is a famous, like, world-class acceleration program for startups. It's very hard to get to YC. Getting to YC, like, your chance to get to Harvard and Stanford is something like 6%, and getting to YC is less than 1% chance. Okay, so almost no chance. And he's like, maybe you should try. I'm like, why not? Let's try. We tried to get to YC, and it worked. Somehow they accepted us. We can go on. So they accepted us. That was great. We learned a lot of things. Awesome people, brilliant organization. And after YC, you have this demo day where you go on the stage for 800 investors, and you have a speech. If you're successful, they will give you a lot of money. If not, you go with nothing. Many companies did not raise money there, but our speech was extra success on YC. And we raised millions of dollars, even though we didn't need a lot. But still, like, people were bringing money and money and money. We just took money just because, not because we need money, but because they were great investors. Like, best Silicon Valley investors are coming to you, approaching and willing to give you money. You're like, at least that they can be helpful afterwards, not with this money. And we got a lot of like professional investors, Hollywood actors. We got, do you know the rock band Muse? Yeah? So Matt Bellamy, the lead singer and founder of Muse, was there on the YC, and he came, approached me, and gave us money too. So we're like, I don't know, swimming in the pool of money now. And it was like another part of this crazy roller coaster. And we're still in this process, still happens a lot. Is there anything else there? Yeah, and I think the main thing to take out from here is that it might be hard. We might do a lot of stupid things and fuck up. But I think that if you love what you're doing, if you have loyal people, keep fighting. It works.